Do you want to see how to make the coolest LED running board lights with custom Arduino programming? Well, stay tuned. Greetings! Ever since I got my 2020 Super Duty F250, I wanted to add some cool looking LEDs to the exterior. I wanted them to make a statement, but not look outrageously ridiculous at the same time. I wanted more than just a single color like white or amber. I could purchase an LED controller, but I would still have a lot of limitations. So I got an idea from the DroneBot workshop on YouTube. I could use one of my spare Arduinos to customize and program it to give me a wide variety of colors fading in and out at different intensity levels and put the LEDs on my running boards. The DroneBot Workshop YouTube site has a wonderful tutorial on how to put all of this together. I'll include a link to this video in my notes. Here he shows the diagram of how to hook this all together. It starts with the Arduino, which powers the RGB LEDs, and it's powered by the 12-volt truck battery in my case. Finally, we have the transistor switching units, which provide high-speed pulse width modulation to change the intensity of the RGB LED strips. One thing to note is that we are not using the potentiometers. I programmed it differently without those and still managed to get all the colors that I wanted to get. Let's take a look at the parts that I used to complete this build. First, it starts with the LEDs. These are incredible IP68 weatherproof LEDs from Ecolocity LED. They're very expensive but well worth it. Here we have the Arduino Uno and the weatherproof enclosure to install it along with all the wiring and transistor switching units. To seal all the connections, you need the weatherproof connectors as well as RTV silicone sealant. You will need the transistor switching units, 3 of them, one each for red, green, and blue to drive the LEDs. You'll need 4 conductor electrical wire to power the LEDs. You'll need 2 conductor power wire to take the voltage from the battery to the Arduino. You'll also need weatherproof connectors to connect all the wires, such as heat shrink or heat soldering connectors. To bring the 12-volt power into the Arduino enclosure, I decided to use a barrel plug with a barrel jack. Finally, you can get trailer wiring connectors which come in really handy. There are 4-wire versions which work out extremely well for connecting and disconnecting the 4-wire LEDs, and there are 2-wire connectors which come in really handy for connecting the positive and minus 12-volt power. Here's the box I built to act as the LED controller. It's certainly much larger than a typical LED controller, but this is a weatherproof IP65 case. On the outside we have trailer wire connectors to connect to the 2 LEDs, one on each side of the truck. We have a 12-volt input that I will bring from the battery and the Upfitter switches. It'll go in just like that, making it easy to connect. And when we take a look inside, we'll see the final assembly of the components. We have, looking from the power input first, we have the red positive and the black negative all routed around. First of all, routed to the Arduino, which is a programmed controller so that I can reprogram if necessary and customize the LEDs to my liking. The wires also go, the positive ends up going out the trailer wires to the LEDs. The negatives go to the transistor switching units, and there's also powering the LED switching units as well, coming from both the Arduino for the signals and the 12 volts to flow to the output. The other really nice thing is the ability to pop off. When I need to reprogram, I can pop off one of those plugs, and even if this is mounted in the truck, I can bring my laptop in and plug in the USB and completely reprogram the thing inside the truck. It's time for one final test of the system before we start installing into the truck. So I have the box and I have 2 rows of LEDs, one for the right side and one for the left, and I've temporarily put on the trailer connectors. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just plug it in as I would with the Upfitter switch, and then when we connect the trailer switches, we get light. And when we connect the trailer connectors, we get light. And then what these will do is they're programmed to slowly change colors or slowly change intensity, or both. So right now they're just going through a white high and low cycle of white, and then they will start going into, I believe, an amber, yellow to amber series of colors. So it looks like those are working. Here we're going to look at the wires for the Upfitter switches on this model. They're over on the passenger side, right in there, and I'll show you, I'll go around and show you how they are packaged from the factory. Right there, and you just take off, start peeling away the electrical tape, and that's what we're going to do next. After unraveling about a mile of electrical tape and then looking in the owner's manual to find out which wire is Upfitter switch 1, I found that it's the brown wire with the green stripe. I turned the ignition to the on position, turned on the Upfitter switch, connected the voltmeter positive to the wire and the voltmeter negative to the battery, and we have 12 volts. So we've identified the correct Upfitter switch. We've got the wiring hooked up, and we have the 12 volt plug going in. We have the LEDs connected with the trailer wires, and we're going to go in the cab, turn on the Upfitter switch, and go back out and see the LEDs are working. Okay, we have the box mounted in position. We've got the power plugged in. We've got the lights plugged in for with the trailer wires, and they are working. Here's where we install the LED strips on the 2020 Super Duty. Above the running board, when you look up there, you can see a little slot. It's very dirty. We will have to completely clean it, but the LED strips slide in really nicely right there. First step will be cleaning with warm water and soap to get all the dirt and grime off. that was fun. The next step in cleaning will be to do a full rinse to get all the residue off. We're starting with a bucket of clean water and a clean rag, and we're going to get all that residue off before we do the final step, which is the mineral spirits. To get all the remaining residue off, we're going to use the mineral spirits and wipe that down. And hopefully the tape will have a good adhesive. All right, I think you got it. It's time to attach the LED strip. I have the LED strip cut to length. It's totally waterproof. I put an end cap on the end where I cut it and sealed it with silicone. It came from the retailer sealed at the beginning, and I put a plastic conduit around the pigtail. It has double-sided tape, so let's get started. Okay. We got it. Next, we will attach the wiring harness, which carries 4 wires down from the controller to the LED light strip. On the far end, as we feed it through, we'll attach the pigtail to the LED light strip, and on the near end, we will hook up the 4-wire trailering connector and plug it straight into our controller box. Okay, I've finished hooking all of the wires for both sides up, and the last one we just did is this trailer connector that I hooked up to the black wire that I ran down there, and we're going to plug it in and turn it on and see if it works. So the way I plug it in by design was to reach in here yes.